Your dog was doing exactly what you taught him to do. You just didn't know you taught him that. Welcome to The Dog Who Asked for More, the podcast for dog parents navigating the messy, complicated parts of life with a dog. Here you'll gain confidence in your decisions, deepen your connection with your dog, and finally feel seen in something you've never been able to say out loud. I'm Em, a dog mom, former vet tech, dog trainer, and canine nutritionist who stopped letting hard days write the story and who works with dog parents learning to see what's actually going on underneath the behavior. We do this constantly with reactive dogs. A rough day becomes evidence of permanent regression. One incident in a place that used to be manageable becomes confirmation of the story we've been afraid was true all along. And we're especially good at this on the days when we're already depleted. Because when you have nothing left, your brain starts looking for explanations. And the explanation it reaches for is usually the most painful one. It's my fault. I've undone everything. My dog is broken. I'm the wrong person for this dog. And that story feels completely true when you're in the middle of it. The hard part is that the story isn't random. It's built from real moments, real incidents, real days where nothing worked and you couldn't figure out why. And when you've had enough of those days, the story starts to feel like less of a story and more like evidence. And the evidence keeps coming because the hard days keep coming, not every day, but often enough. And each one gets added to the pile. And the pile starts to feel like the whole picture. Almost every person I work with has a version of this, a behavior they've been trying to understand for months, a pattern they've assigned meaning to that turns out to have a completely different explanation. And the explanation is almost never what they feared. It's usually something specific, something identifiable. Something that once you see it makes complete sense. The story was wrong, not because they weren't paying attention, but because they were too close to see it clearly. A while back, Fitz was herding me down the stairs. I told myself it was a breed behavior. He's got border collie in him. He's just playing. This is just who he is. I sent a video to Jerry, a dog trainer whose program I took to learn content creation and dog training, and who I worked with one-on-one for exactly this kind of thing. She watched it and came back immediately. That's it. That's what you've been doing. We had been playing this game that was teaching him to chase and herd my feet, and he was doing it on the steps because that is what I had shown him to do. Not breed behavior, not a hard dog being a hard dog. Something I had accidentally taught him that I then had to teach out of him. I had built an entire story around who he was. The real answer was what I had been doing without realizing it. And that's what makes the wrong story so hard to let go of, because it feels like self-awareness. It feels like you're being honest about what's happening. You're not in denial. You're looking right at it and calling it what it is, except you're calling it the wrong thing. And you don't know that until someone with fresh eyes sees what you've been too close to see. Until the video gets sent and someone watches 30 seconds and goes, there it is, and you realize you've been living inside the story so long, you stopped questioning whether it was true. Even after Jerry showed me exactly what was happening, I still had to catch myself reaching for the old story because it had been the explanation for so long. Letting it go felt like losing something, even though the thing I was losing was wrong. What that moment gave me was the understanding that the story I built on a hard day is almost never the right one, not because I'm not paying attention, but because I'm paying attention from the inside. And inside, everything looks like confirmation. A bad day is information. It's not a verdict. And the story you build on top of it is almost never the right one. But knowing that doesn't make the next hard day easier to sit in. You can understand that the story is wrong and still feel it being written in real time. Still feel the pull towards the explanation that makes the most sense from where you're standing. Because the feeling is persuasive. The feeling says it's the truth. This is what today showed you about your dog and about yourself. And that feeling is coming from a nervous system that is tired and wants an explanation that gives it some sense of control. If it's something I did, if I can identify the mistake, then I can fix it. That's oddly more comforting than today was hard and there might not be a reason that requires action. The story hands you control even when the control is an illusion. The next time you have a hard day, before you build the story, Look for what else might explain it. What else was happening? Weather? Lack of sleep? Routine disruption? Something that you might have accidentally been reinforcing without realizing it? What does the actual picture look like when you step back from inside it? And if you can, find someone with fresh eyes, someone who can watch the video and see what you can't see from where you're standing. Here's the question I want to leave you with. What if the story you've been telling about your dog isn't wrong because you're not paying attention, but because you've been too close to see it clearly? Today was hard and you made it through, and the story you built on top of it is probably not the right one. Tomorrow is different information. Don't let today write the whole thing. And if you're sitting there thinking, I genuinely don't know what's driving these hard days, the dog enrichment quiz will help you see what might actually be going on underneath. Sometimes the picture is clearer than you think. The link is in the episode description. So be kind, spread joy, and remember, one hard day is data. It's not the whole story.